They say that the recipe I have for you today is so good that the person who makes it for you, you will want to marry them. It is called Marry Me Chicken Soup. Now there's multiple versions of this. You can do just the Marry Me Chicken. I am doing a soup recipe today, and I'm gonna consider this one of my lunch options for my year supply of food because we have not done a lunch item yet. We're gonna make this all in the crock pot, so it's gonna be super easy and sound super delicious. I've never had it before, but let's go. I am doubling this recipe, and I will have it linked in the video description below, so you don't have to worry about memorizing everything right now. But we are starting with 4 chicken breasts, 2 containers of chicken broth. I'm actually gonna do 1.5 because 2 seems kind of like a lot. We need a diced onion, but I am just using frozen diced onions as a little shortcut. This is my favorite ingredient, sun-dried tomatoes. I love sun-dried tomatoes. I am adding this entire jar. I did drain the oil from it and rinse them off just to get some of that extra fat off of it. Adding about a teaspoon of red pepper flakes, teaspoon of salt, shake of pepper, my freeze-dried garlic powder, which is the best thing in the entire world. I'm doing a large teaspoon. And even though I have onions in there, I'm gonna add a little bit of my freeze-dried onion powder also. And about 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning. And that's it. This already smells so good. After the chicken is cooked and easily shreddable, I will remove the chicken breasts, shred them. When I return them to the crock pot, we have 2 more ingredients to add. That's gonna make this really rich and decadent. And then we will have to give it a taste test to see if it really holds up to its name of Marry Me Chicken Soup. Oh wait, no, there's actually 3 more ingredients we're gonna add. Once I return the shredded chicken back into the pot, I am going to be adding pasta to it to make it a nice hearty soup, and then a few more ingredients to make it nice and decadent, and hopefully so delicious. I'm just gonna get my lid onto my crock pot. I'm gonna let this go for about 3 hours, and I'll check the chicken to see if it's ready to be shredded. I am cooking this on high temperature so that hopefully it'll cook kind of fast, and then we will go from there. You see out my window all the snow that's out there and how dark it is at 10:18. We are actually getting more daylight, like minutes each day, which is really encouraging for us Alaskans, but it still feels dark and dreary. But now that we have a bunch of snow, it really helps just brighten up the atmosphere and is just pretty. That's why Alaskans love snow in the winter, because it just brightens everything up when it's so dark outside. One of my viewers, Bill, thank you, sent me this chicken shredder, and we're gonna use it today. You stick the chicken on here, put this on top, and you twist it, and it's supposed to shred your chicken very quickly and easily. I accidentally put my tongs in the dishwasher, so I'm doing this by hand. But I think the idea is to just stick your chicken on here. You put the lid on and you twist. This is so cool. All right, let's see. That looks nice and shredded to me. I'm gonna dump this in the crock pot and do that to the rest of my chicken. The recipe calls for you cooking this in the crock pot with the cooking liquid that's in there. However, when I was reading the comments, it said that when they did that, it was very gummy and mushy. So I am going to cook this separately and then just add it to the crock pot at the very end of the cooking process so that it doesn't get mushy. And that's why I didn't use the full amount of chicken broth, thinking that a lot of that extra was for the pasta, but we'll see how it's looking. The last 2 items I need to add, a cup of heavy cream and a cup of grated Parmesan cheese. This smells divine. I'm not sure yet if I want to add the extra chicken broth. It's not very soupy, but I kind of like when it's a real thick, hearty soup versus like lots of broth and just a little bit of like chicken and flavorings. So this might end up being the perfect consistency. So we will see. I'm gonna let this simmer together for about 30 to 45 minutes, and then I'll meet you back here when it's time to add the pasta. All right, now I'm going to add my pasta, cooked pasta. I might only add half of this. I'm only adding half. I did go ahead and add probably 2 cups more of the chicken broth. This looks so delicious. Okay, I want to give it a quick little taste to just make sure our seasonings are okay. I'm gonna stop this because it's boiling. That is so good. It has so much flavor. I was not expecting it to be that flavorful. That is delicious. So I am giving this recipe a home run, 10 out of 10. You gotta make it. And you just saw how easy it was. I didn't have to pre-cook anything. Well, I guess besides the pasta, but besides that. And if you didn't want to do pasta, you could do rice in there. You could add like some beans or lentils, whatever you like. You could kind of have some fun with this, but it's delicious. I'm gonna get my trays ready. I just washed them, so I need to dry them off. As I scoop the soup onto my trays, I am just gonna be eyeballing what I think is a serving size. I am hoping to get 12 servings of soup out of this, but we'll just see how far it stretches. I think I'm gonna use my ladle. I might switch to a measuring cup. I'm not sure, but we will just see how it goes. So I just tried to get this as even as I can on my trays. I definitely believe that this will make us 12 beautiful portions of soup. We may even have 14 servings on here. I'm trying to just have it spread out evenly on each tray so that I could break them up into 4 equal sections when I package them up for individual meals. That's my thinking. I need to let this come to completely room temperature before I put it into the freeze dryer because I am not pre-freezing this. So once these have cooled down, I can get them loaded in my freeze dryer, and I'm gonna go turn on my freeze dryer right now off camera, but I'm just doing standard settings, minus 10 degrees, freeze temp, 2 extra hours of freeze time because I did not pre-freeze this. What's the next setting? 120 degree dry temp, and I do 8 hours of extra dry time. During that time, we will be doing a weight test to see if the food is fully freeze dried and if all the moisture has been removed. High moisture foods, you definitely want to do a a weight test to see if the food has become fully dried, and I will show you how that all works. It's very easy to do. So I'll meet you back here in a few minutes. My trays have cooled down. I'm gonna stick my tray lids on them so I can carry them down in my basement and hopefully not make a huge mess. Here we go. Vanilla ice is locked and loaded. It'll probably take, I'm thinking we're gonna be in the 30 to 35 hour range. I don't know, maybe not. I don't know, but I'll let you know exactly how long it took when we get there. So tomorrow sometime, hopefully. So I'm actually not doing a weight test today. My freeze dryer was done in the middle of the night. It went through the full extra dry cycle, and then I had to work today. So I increased the dry time. It's ran for an extra like 16 hours. The machine sensed it was done around the like 32 hour mark. So after running all night, plus the hours while I was at work, it's definitely fully freeze dried. I'm just gonna take it out. Don't be mad at me. I wrote that it was the year 2025 on all of these, so I had to go back and scratch them out and fix it. Y'all, I taught kindergarten today. If any of you are kindergarten teachers, you are the true heroes. Because let me tell you, I am so tired after my day today. They're wonderful, kind, sweet kids. Wonderful kids. However, when there's a substitute at school, kids know they try to push their boundaries because they know their teacher's not there. And we got our work done that we needed to, but it was a tiring day. Tiring day. Okay, I let my gloves go inside out and now I can't get them back on. So I'm gonna try to make it easy on myself and just pull them out one tray at a time so that I'm not overwhelmed over here on my table. Let's see how it actually looks. Okay, this looks amazing. I've got to try one of these tomatoes. That is so good. I'm now wanting to just freeze dry sun-dried tomatoes. That was delicious. I love sun-dried tomatoes. So I'm going to be dividing my tray into 3 parts for each meal, and it should fit in these bags fine. I am hoping. These are my MRE meal size bags that I love. So I'm going to try to just divide this in thirds as best as I can. Pour it in my bag. I'm gonna get my oxygen absorbers in. All right, 3 down, 9 more to go. I'm like really hungry and kind of want to reconstitute one of these for dinner, but that'll mess up my numbers, and so I'm not going to. I'm sorry, I'm not taste testing these foods. I know it's good, so you're just gonna have to trust me. I mean, it tasted good before. I haven't reconstituted it yet, but I'm sure it's gonna be amazing. But I don't want to waste an MRE meal just on myself. I would rather have it in my food supply. I don't feel like I'm breaking these up perfectly evenly, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, I'm just trying to get as close to even portions as I can. If you're someone who wants exact numbers on reconstituting, that's not me. I just eyeball everything. I will add water to this slowly and just let it sit, and then if it looks like it needs more water to be a soup consistency, then you just add more water. It's very easy. But if you wanted to know exactly how much water to add back, you would weigh each tray before freeze drying it, and then after it's freeze dried, you weigh all the trays again, and the difference in weight is the amount of water to add back. So each tray you then would divide by 3 because you're doing it in 3 separate portions, if that makes sense. I'm trying to make sure I scoop up the little bits of broth because that's where the flavor is for your liquid. So I'm trying to leave as little of that behind as possible. I'm going to finish up my last 2 trays and meet you right back here with the next step in the process. We are almost done. The last step is, of course, to heat seal the tops closed, which I just do right over here on the heat sealer. Now this over here is a sight I love to see. 12 more meals in the books. Let's add it to my log before I forget. This is gonna go under lunches. I already have 36 meals that I have made in 3 weeks, which I think is a pretty big accomplishment. If you do little by little, it really does add up, which is pretty cool. And I'm telling you, this is better than anything you can buy from Mountain House or pre-packaged freeze-dried food. Thank you all so much for being here. Make sure you are subscribed if you want to follow along on my goal of making a year's supply of food for myself. Remember, when you freeze dry today, you secure your tomorrow. Bye, friends.